Do you ever have the feeling that people just stay away from you? How you say something is more important than what you say most of the time. People may not like you because of small things you do in your talks. In this video, you'll learn about 7 ways of talking that push people away without you even knowing it. You'll also learn how to stop them right away so that people want to be near you. Number 1. Dominating every conversation. Someone who takes over every conversation is the worst thing for connection. It's not always because they're arrogant. Sometimes it's because they're scared, insecure, or need to feel understood. When every narrative comes back to you and every pause gives you a new idea, people pull away without even realizing it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "To know the true quality of people, you have to look into their minds, see what they do, and see what they avoid." A person who dominates every discussion show is more interested in getting recognition than understanding. But real power is in holding back. You exhibit confidence when you practice stillness and let other people speak. People who are the most charismatic don't yell. They listen to you. It's not passive to listen deeply. It's a strong discipline. The Stoics thought that listening was a sign of humility, or the idea that anyone can be wise, not just you. So the next time you want to talk, stop. Let the silence do the work. That little bit of self-control can radically affect how people see you. When you talk too much, you're basically trying to regulate how much validation you get. You want people to see, understand, and cherish you, but your need to be understood makes others feel like they aren't. People don't usually detest someone who talks a lot. They despise someone who doesn't know when to quit. It's not how loud you speak that turns folks off. It's the imbalance. Epictetus stated, "If someone tells you that someone else is talking bad about you, don't make excuses for what they said. Instead say, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, or else he would have mentioned only these.'" This teaches us to be humble, not just in how we talk about ourselves, but also in how we act. A Stoic knows that no amount of words can show how valuable you are. Being calm earns respect, not words. When you keep bringing the conversation back to yourself, you're saying, "What I have to say is more important than what you think." That's how people take it, even if you don't mean it that way. The Stoics said this kind of behavior showed a lack of discipline and an inability to control one's desires. An intelligent person understands that a discussion is a back and forth, not a one-way street. Even as an emperor, Marcus Aurelius did this discipline. He was surrounded by authority and attention, so he taught himself to talk less and listen more. He told himself in his meditations to receive without pride, let go without attachment. That way of thinking also applies to speaking. Don't let your ego get in the way of receiving words. Let go of the impulse to always answer. In its purest form, listening is a sign of power. You show that you don't need continual validation to feel good about yourself when you hold back your words. You give room for other people to think, say, and feel appreciated, and that's what makes you unforgettable. People don't connect with you because you wow them. They connect with you because they feel like you get them. Seneca said, "The mind is shown by speech. It shows what is concealed." If you always talk about oneself, it shows that you are insecure. But if you speak with interest, patience, and tranquility, it shows that your mind is powerful and stable. The Stoics said that the point of talking to someone isn't to win, but to comprehend. When you're talking to someone else, pay attention to how you feel inside. Notice how your mind wants to interrupt, add, or prove anything. That's your ego attempting to take over. Instead, take a breath. Let the time go by. One of the best ways to control yourself is to master this little pause. People may not remember what you said, but they will remember how they felt when they said it. Did you make them feel small? Or did you make them feel like they were being heard? That's the line that separates being respected from being quietly loathed. The truth is that knowledge doesn't yell. It listens. Real power comes from holding back, not from being in charge. The one who can easily stay quiet has already conquered the room, for strength dwells in silence. Number 2, constantly one-upping others. Have you ever told someone a personal tale and they immediately said, "Oh, that's nothing. Listen to what happened to me"? That's the one who is better. Every conversation they have is a competition. The goal may not be malicious, but the message is unmistakable. Your experience is of lesser significance than mine. Seneca once remarked, "No one can be happy if they only think about themselves and make everything work out for them." The one-upper is stuck in that way of thinking. They want attention so badly that they won't let anyone else have it for even a second. Practice self-control to get respect. Let it breathe when someone tells you something important. Instead of taking over the moment, ask questions. A simple, "That's interesting, how did that make you feel?" can start a real conversation. People remember how you made them feel, not how good your tale was. People value the quiet listener more than the incessant storyteller. The one-upper doesn't see how obvious it is that they require validation. Every time they turn the spotlight back on themselves, they show that they are insecure, but act like they are confident. They think they are displaying strength, but they are really showing need. The need to be admired, to be envied, and to establish their value by comparing themselves to others. And this is exactly what the Stoics said not to do, always looking for acceptance from others. Epictetus said, "If you want other people to admire you, you give them control over your happiness." The one-upper is stuck in the prison. They feel good about themselves or bad about themselves, depending on how they compare to other people. Every tale becomes into a game, and every discussion turns into a scorecard. But real wisdom comes from being happy with what you have, not from comparing yourself to others. The Stoic way is to let go of the need to look significant and to build the strength to just be important without saying so. Marcus Aurelius, who had every cause to brag, said, "Don't waste the rest of your life thinking about other people. When you do, you lose the thread of your own soul." He meant that trying to please other people takes you away from your own sense of order. You stop listening and start performing when you turn every conversation into a show. And people can feel that. They know when a conversation isn't real, since the other person is merely waiting for their chance to shine. It makes a wall that you can't see. They stop talking to you because it seems like walking uphill when they do. You always drag the spotlight back to yourself. The Stoics thought that being humble was not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Seneca said that a smart person doesn't care about looking beautiful. They care about being excellent and quiet. When someone tells you about their experience and you just listen, without judging, correcting, or making them feel bad, you demonstrate a lot of inner strength. You show confidence that doesn't need to be checked. Think about the last time you let someone else's story go without questioning it. When was the last time you said, "I know how you feel," and then told your own story? That behavior, even while it's meant to be helpful, often makes what the other person is attempting to say seem less important. The Stoic way to respond to what other people go through is to be empathetic, not competitive. It's a gentle way of saying that life isn't a show, it's a shared struggle. Instead of replying, "That's nothing, I've been through worse," when a buddy tells you about a problem, say, "That must have been hard. What did you do about it?" This little tweak makes a big difference. It changes a time of self-promotion into a time of connecting with others. Epictetus told his students, "Nature gave us one tongue and two ears, so we could listen twice as much as we talk." The one-upper does the opposite. They talk twice as much as they listen. But when you stop doing that, people start to trust you more. They can tell that you are mature, wise, and balanced. Having the best story all the time could make you feel good about yourself for a short time, but it hurts your relationships in the long run. The Stoics wanted people to like them for who they were, not what they said. So the next time someone tells you about their moment of pride, anguish, or achievement, just let them have it. Give them a reason to celebrate without comparing them to others. People remember and respect the individual who makes others feel seen without seeking to be seen in return. That's the calm confidence of a disciplined intellect. It doesn't need to say, "I've done better," since its worth is clear. Number 3, overusing sarcasm or playful mockery. Sarcasm is a smart way to hide your insecurities. It might make you seem funny at first, but it will make others lose trust over time. People start to protect themselves around you when humor turns into a weapon instead of a bridge. The Stoics said that speech that makes people hate you is bad. Epictetus said, "If you want to get better, be okay with people thinking you're dumb and foolish. Don't use irony to mask how you really feel. Being honest takes a lot of courage. People don't feel secure when your jokes always make fun of other people, even in a small way. They start to wonder when the next joke will be about them. You don't have to stop being humorous. Just change the way you make fun of others. Let your intelligence come through in understanding, not insults." Seneca said, "Let your words be a reflection of your thoughts. A sharp tongue typically shows that the heart is restless. If you speak softly and politely, You'll gain a gentle type of authority that comes from respect, not fear. People often think that sarcasm is smart, but it's really an indication of being emotionally impatient. It's the rapid, defensive answer of someone who doesn't want to be weak. Making a joke is easier than being honest. It's easier to push away than to feel. But as time goes on, people start to feel the underlying coldness that keeps actual connection out behind the mask. The Stoics thought that words were parts of the soul. They thought that the way you talk shows how you feel within. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul takes on the color of its thoughts." If you talk in a cynical, sarcastic, or mocking way, your thoughts will eventually reflect that tone, bitter, guarded, and distant. Speech is not different from character. It's proof of it. Sarcasm is common in places where being real feels dangerous. It lets folks look like they're interested, without really being open about their feelings. But the Stoics considered that honesty was the most important thing, truth in thought, feeling, and speaking. They thought that words should bring people together, not cause problems. Seneca said, "A sharp tongue is the only edge tool that gets sharper with use. The more you depend on it, the more it hurts other people, and finally yourself." When you use sarcasm, even in a fun way, you encourage people not to believe you. They'll laugh, but they won't tell you anything. They'll grin, but they won't talk to you. They start to feel that whatever they say could be the punchline to your next joke. And once that trust is gone, no amount of charm can bring it back. The Stoics thought that comedy should be balanced. They didn't turn down laughing. They turned against cruelty that was hidden as humor. Musonius Rufus, a Roman Stoic who is not often remembered, said that virtue is found in moderation, even in how we joke. A funny joke brings people together, whereas a cruel one pushes them apart. A smart individual knows how to tell the difference. Intelligence doesn't have to make fun of others. It watches, understands, and occasionally chuckles softly at the paradoxes in life without using them as weapons. The Stoics found amusement in how tiny most issues are compared to the enormity of fate. That kind of comedy makes you smarter, not hurt. Think about it. Do people feel better or more guarded after talking to you? Do they leave the conversation laughing in relief or discomfort? If your jokes hurt, it's not because you're smart, it's because you're proud. Seneca also observed, kindness that isn't seen is useless. The same goes for warmth. People won't experience your warmth if it's hidden behind sarcasm. They'll feel the harshness before they feel the honesty. Being honest, direct, and nice doesn't make you dull. It makes you someone people can trust. Epictetus would tell his students that being able to speak well is the same as being able to control yourself. A person who can't control their sense of humor can't control their impulses. And someone who can't manage their impulses can't control their future. So the next time you want to say anything mean, stop. Think about what it does for you. Are you showing off or raising the room? The Stoic picks the first one. They know that words matter, and that real strength is not making fun of people, but making them feel comfortable enough to be themselves. People could forget your sarcasm, but they won't forget how it made them feel. Respect grows when people are quiet, but connection grows when people are nice. You gain a special kind of strength when you let your humor rise instead of hurt. This power lets you make people feel noticed, not tiny. That's what it means to have a truly wise and disciplined mind. Number 4, interrupting before they finish. Interrupting is one of the few habits that shows a lack of discipline and presence. People sometimes mistake this conduct for passion or interest, but it really shows impatience and ego. When you cut someone off in the middle of a sentence, you're not simply stopping them from talking. You're also saying, what you have to say isn't as important as what I have to say. This tendency slowly destroys respect over time. The Stoics thought that speech was a holy act that should serve reason and harmony instead than impulse. Epictetus stated, "A man cannot learn what he believes he already knows," and that's exactly what an interruption shows: assurance, arrogance, and a lack of desire to really comprehend. The person who interrupts thinks they already know where the conversation is going and that their views are somehow more essential or interesting. But listening is what builds wisdom, not speaking. Seneca said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more than we talk." This old truth is still very important today. Being able to listen without hurrying to answer shows both intelligence and strength of character. The Stoics thought that the best way to show mastery was to be able to stay quiet while others talk. Marcus Aurelius lived by this rule. As emperor, He often had to deal with persons who talked too much, charmed him, or argued with pride. But he listened quietly, not because he agreed with everyone, but because he knew that even fools sometimes say things that are wise. He added, "If someone can show me that what I think or do is wrong, I will gladly change because I want the truth," which has never hurt anyone. To interrupt would mean not giving that person an opportunity to learn or to express the truth. It's not only about words when you interrupt. It's also about managing your ego. It comes from an unconscious drive to control the discourse, be heard and be recognized. The Stoics would say that is pathos, which is a strong feeling that goes against reason. A smart person doesn't let that inner voice tell them what to do. He knows that silence may be powerful. You gain people's trust by letting them speak fully. And when it's your turn to speak, your comments will mean more. When someone is chatting, try this discipline. Keep yourself back on purpose. Don't think about what you're going to say next while they're still talking. Just listen. Let their ideas settle. Take a moment before you answer. That break is when you have to keep your cool. This is a simple thing, yet it shows a lot of self-control. The Stoics thought that everything we do on the outside shows how we feel on the inside. So if you keep interrupting, it's not just rude. It's a warning that things are going wrong within. It means that your mind is restless and can't stand being idle or not knowing what will happen next. But when you wait and let others finish, you're practicing apatheia, which means being free from strong feelings and letting reason rule over instinct. Seneca reportedly remarked, "A thankful heart is the most honorable thing." You should be thankful for more than just possessions. You should also be thankful for what people say. Being fully present when someone is talking is a way to show thanks. It says to others, "Your voice is important here." People automatically respect you more when they feel like you are listening to them. Interruptions can get you some attention, but patience will get you more. People will pay greater attention to what you say if you let them finish their thoughts. The quiet, attentive listener is more present than the loudest speaker ever could be. So don't leap in the next time you want to. Allow silence to last. Let humility take the lead. Real wisdom doesn't haste to be heard. It waits until it has something important to say. Number 5. Pretending to be interested. Fake listening is one of the most subtle types of disrespect. It typically lurks beneath polite grins, casual nods, or the words "that's interesting." But your mind is someplace else when you do those things. Like going over your ideas, deciding what to say next, or just waiting for your turn to speak. People always know when you're not really paying attention, even if you believe you're convincing. The way you speak, the way your eyes don't show attention, and the small pause before you answer all show that you don't care. The Stoics thought that how we give our attention defines the nature of our character. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be there for every meeting. It doesn't last long and it might never come back." This wasn't just about mindfulness. It was a reminder of mortality. Every interaction is brief. Once it's over, it can't happen again. Giving someone your time, even for a short time, is one of the most respectful things you can do. You take away that person's dignity when you pretend to listen. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere," which means that you shouldn't spread your attention too thin. This is exactly what happens when you pretend to be interested in something. Your body is there, but your mind is somewhere else. You may be looking at your phone, thinking about what you have to do next, or practicing your next smart response. That fragmentation doesn't simply make it harder for you to be disciplined. It also makes it harder for you to connect with other people. Listening, in the Stoic meaning, is an exercise in focus and humility. It's a moment where you silence your ego and create place for another person's reality. Epictetus stated, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we talk." To him, listening wasn't just a social skill, it was moral instruction. When you really listen, you are building patience, empathy, and calmness. You're educating yourself to favor comprehension over articulation. On the other side, pretending to be interested is lying. It's a deception that slowly eats away at relationships. People might not say anything to you about it, but they'll stop talking to you. They'll share less, trust less, and open up less. Everyone can tell the difference between attention and performance on a deep level. Practice being present if you want to create real respect and connection. When someone talks, give them your complete attention. Stop using the phone. Don't act like you're looking at someone. Just look them in the eye to show you're there. Don't just wait to answer. listen to comprehend. You could ask questions such, "That's interesting, what made you feel that way?" Or "What happened in that situation?" These simple actions convey that you appreciate their opinions, not just the cacophony of chatter. Marcus Aurelius also told himself that everyone you encounter has something to teach you, even if you don't agree with them. With that attitude, listening becomes a way to learn when you talk to people. You begin to see the world through the eyes of others, which helps you perceive things in a new way. And it's funny because people will think you're more interesting, not because you talk more, but because you make them feel important. If you find yourself zoning out in the middle of a discussion, stop and come back to the present. Feel the weight of the current moment. Let your mind relax. The Stoics called this prosautia, which means attentiveness, or the discipline of focusing your mind on what's in front of you. Practicing it changes not only how people see you, but also how you see life itself. In a time when everyone is busy, being there is unusual and powerful. You stand out when you really listen without pretending to. You are strong in your simplicity. You show that you aren't driven by boredom or instinct, but by purpose and intention. There are already too many people who talk. It needs more people who listen and know that real respect is quiet, consistent, and honest. Number 6, turning every discussion negative. Some people can go into a room full of light and still throw a shadow. They don't mean to take away other people's energy, but they do. Everything is a problem, a complaint, or a warning story. It's too hot outside, the work is too hard, and you can't trust people. There is always a soundtrack of negativity. And even if they think they're being realistic, what they're really doing is educating everyone around them to be less positive. The Stoics knew that how you think affects how you see the world. Epictetus said, "What bothers people is not things, but how they think about things. Negativity isn't about the world. It's about how you choose to see it." You show that you have a propensity of seeing life via complaints instead of curiosity when every conversation turns into a complaint. And that practice makes people shun you without saying anything because your words don't inspire. They wear them out. Seneca said, "Hang out with people who will make you a better person. Welcome those who you can help." That means we should try to be a strong presence in other people's life, a voice that raises them up instead of bringing them down. People may not remember everything you say, but they will always remember how you make them feel. They'll start to safeguard their serenity by staying away from you if you drain their energy. Negativity also reflects a deeper weakness. It demonstrates that you haven't learned how to control your point of view. The Stoics practiced amor fati, which means loving fate and accepting things as they are, without anger or complaint. Marcus Aurelius said, "A blazing fire turns everything that is thrown into it into flame and light." A Stoic uses hard times as fuel, not as a reason to get angry. Seeing opportunity instead of problems makes optimism a quiet strength. But being negative, especially when it looks like honesty, frequently seems sensible at the time. The cynic thinks they see life as it really is, but in reality they only see what they want to see. Cynicism may sound smart, but it's usually just disappointment that has become a habit. You don't have to pretend to be happy all the time. Stoicism isn't about acting like everything is fine. It's about teaching your mind to respond with reason instead of complaint. When someone tells you about their dream and your first thought is, "That won't work," stop yourself. Instead, say, "What made you want to do that?" When someone talks about a new challenge, don't jump to the conclusion that they will fail. Give them encouragement. Be realistic in your guidance, but also hopeful. Every time you talk to someone, you give and take energy. You either help people or hurt them. The more light you send out, the more others will want to be around you. Being positive doesn't mean you're naive. It means you're a leader. It indicates that you can stay calm and balanced, even when other people start to doubt themselves. Marcus Aurelius also told himself, "Stop arguing about what a good man should be one." That requires being calm and optimistic, not just talking about it. When you don't let negativity get to you, you show others their better sides. You remind them that life is harsh, but it's not over. Being negative could make you sound smart in a conversation, but being positive makes you attractive. People are drawn to individuals who perceive opportunities instead of problems. They trust people who reply with calm power instead of complaints. Before you say anything, ask yourself, am I adding light or taking it away? Hold your words if they don't make the quiet better. And if they can help, utter them with calm confidence. The individual who brings light to a dark debate doesn't simply impact how people see you. They transform how people see the world. Number 7. Being uncomfortable with silence. Silence is one of the most powerful and revealing ways to connect with others. During tranquil times, most individuals are scared. They think they have to fill every pause with words, jokes, or comments. But this dread of being quiet often shows how insecure someone is. They think that a vacuum must be filled, and the little pause feels like one. But Stoics knew that quiet isn't nothingness. It's presence, thought, and strength. Seneca said, "Speech is a mirror of the soul. As a man speaks, so is he." But quiet shows that you have control over yourself, just like speech shows what you think. People who can sit there and not say anything show that they can control their impulses. They don't need to be validated all the time, and they don't talk all the time to get attention. Just being there shows that they are confident, patient, and calm. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about how important it is to hold back, especially when talking. He thought that words should be planned, important, and needed. Your words lose their power when you fill every silence with noise. Your comments have weight when you don't say much. People pay more attention. They don't feel your power through loudness. They feel it through calmness. Epictetus said that silence is a type of protection. Silence is safer than speech, for he who speaks is at the mercy of his listener. People can judge, misinterpret, or get into a fight with you over whatever you say. By choosing not to speak, you may still control your presence and the effect you have on others. You provide people the freedom to completely express themselves and share their own truths. Accepting silence also makes connections stronger. Trust grows when two people can sit together without talking. Forms of understanding. In those peaceful times, thoughts, feelings, and respect grow without being said. People remember the individual who doesn't rush to fill spaces with noise that doesn't mean anything. They remember the quiet, steady presence that makes others feel heard and important. Being okay with silence isn't being passive. It's being strong. It's the capacity to be totally present without forcing people to talk to you, to show confidence without doing anything, and to value thinking over acting on impulse. Musonius Rufus said that virtue is being moderate in everything, even how you talk. Silence is a disciplined way of using words that shows calmness. Instead than filling a quiet moment, take a break. Take a breath, look, let the silence last. That pause isn't weird. It's strong. It shows that you are in control of yourself and encourages others to think about it. People will be drawn to you not because of what you say, but because of how you make them feel, calm, respected, and understood. People who value stillness stand out in a world where chatting all the time is normal. They have an unseen power, a gentle influence that pulls people in. Silence isn't nothingness. It's a place where presence, clarity, and connection can happen. And mastering it is one of the best ways to get others to respect you and make a lasting impression. The Stoics thought that whatever you say shows how organized or disorganized you are inside. These 7 behaviors may seem little, yet they define how the world sees you. When you interrupt, dominate, or pretend attention, you show that your mind is untrained and restless. You show that you know what you're talking about when you listen, pause, and speak with purpose. People won't always remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Real influence isn't loud. It is calm, measured, and observant. So talk with presence, listen closely, and don't forget, you don't have to prove your strength in every talk. It shows via how calm you are. People will respect, trust, and want to be around you because of the quiet strength behind what you say, not because of what you say.